Currently, it seems hopeless to get a job in tech. We can see clearly that the number of software positions is far from the peak that it was in 2022. And in addition, it's becoming increasingly difficult for junior engineers to land a job. With this 2023 report showing that entry-level positions now only make up 8% of the postings on the market. And today I wanted to talk about how the internet and the media skew our perception of the job market and some personal advice on how to navigate it yourself. My name is KC and my goal is to help people feel less alone in their careers and lives. So 2023 is objectively a tough time for people of all experience levels to get a job in tech. But there are three things making it seem even worse. If you spend any time following tech news, you know that the media loves to sensationalize and elicit some sort of reaction from their viewers, either from people outside of tech or from people inside of tech. And during the recent tech layoff wave, you would see articles every day about another company laying off their engineers. And if not that, maybe you would see articles like this one about Meta ending all their laundry services for their employees. And the constant negative reporting can really create a distorted perception in the non-tech workers' minds. It can be easy for them to think that all tech workers are just these rich and snobby people that deserved it. But the reality of software engineering is that most people are just trying to get their first job and they're just trying to kickstart their career. The people who are struggling to get a software job, struggling to break into tech, they don't give a shit about massages or free laundry services. They just want to feel like all their effort, college, lead code, boot camps, were worth the time invested. And so the media's bias can lead people to be heavily against big tech, and by extension, software engineers in general. And this is just the beginning of how the media skews our perception of the true nature of software jobs. And another reason our perception is skewed is because of survivorship bias. The concept of survivorship bias is that people mistake the visible portion of the group as representative of the whole. Forums and platforms like Reddit are filled with posts about people struggling to get jobs or hating their job. The people who are quickly and easily able to secure jobs probably won't be posting their experiences online. And more likely, they'll just be passively reading these forums or just not there at all. This creates a skewed perspective that because all the posts online we see are about people who can't get jobs, that it is impossible to get a job and that we ourselves are not going to be able to get one as well. And it can be incredibly easy to project yourself into the shoes of the people writing these posts. This is kind of what I would do in the past. I would read a story or a post about someone who's applied to the same number of jobs as me, but still had no success. And I felt like I could relate. I felt a sense of community and I felt safe reading those posts. But when I read posts about people who were farther along in their journey than me, who had studied for longer, who had done more leak code, and who have been struggling to get a job for years, I would also project myself into their shoes, which led me to feel more and more hopeless about my whole journey and just added to my anxiety. And similarly to that, online communities like Reddit can amplify these experiences and can heavily bias towards negativity, which can again create a skewed perspective with two sides. The sides that argue that getting a job is literally impossible, or the people that argue that getting a job is easy. But worse yet, since posts on Reddit are generally anonymous, the ones who respond to comments, the ones who post, can be incredibly blunt and rude and can actually make the individual journeys of people much harder. So given all this information, given all the bias and how stuff we read online is ruining our mental health, let's look at the cold, hard data about the current state of the tech industry. The numbers really don't lie. 2021 and 2022 were insane years for tech, with massive growth and companies hiring at unprecedented levels. But in late 2022 and early 2023, layoffs hit the tech industry hard, resulting in 300,000 jobs lost just in 2023 alone, which explains why in January of this year, 72% of interview requests went to people with 6 years of experience or more, up from about 64% the previous year, which suggests that because of tech layoffs, the market has been flooded with talent from top companies. And some of these people might have even delayed their job searching process because they had severance packages or whatnot, leading to a surge of highly skilled candidates later in the year, which is right now. And because of this, because of the massive influx of competition for not that many jobs, down 68% from the peak in May of 2022, all of this has pushed the power back into the company's hands, who are now able to be much more picky with who they want to interview. And in turn, only picking people with the most experience. All this is to say that if you're looking for an entry-level position, the competition out there is rough. But still, there is a lot of hope. It seems like most developers right now are actually incredibly optimistic of the state of the industry in the future. 60% of developers right now expect that in the next year, the job opportunities for software will increase. And overall, software as an industry is still projected to grow 25% over the next 10 years. And along with all that, it's also worth noting that while it's been incredibly rocky in 2020 and 2023 for the tech industry, overall, it's still not as bad as the dot-com bubble burst or the 2008 financial crisis. We can gather from historical data in Silicon Valley that the highest years of unemployment were in 2003 and 2011. And comparing that to the data from 2023, the unemployment rate is nowhere near the levels of those two recessions. Okay, that was a lot. But all of that being said, that was just the data. And a lot of the times, staring at the data can really minimize people's experiences and not be a good representative picture of the personal experiences that individual software engineers go through. So let's get into the personal aspect of the state of the job market and how to weather the storm if you are searching for a job. When I was looking for my first job in tech, it was an objectively good time to be in the job market. 2016 and 2017 were years of massive growth for tech. So given all that, it should have been incredibly easy for me to land a job, but still, it absolutely was not. The fact is that if you're not a good candidate like I wasn't, it doesn't really matter how good or bad the economy is, you are going to struggle to get a job, just like I did. It was still pain, it was still a grind, and I still spent all my time on forums like Reddit trying to find people with relatable experiences. But so, what can we do about it? Here are a couple of quick tips. Get off Reddit and avoid posts about people struggling. You will be making your life much, much harder if you are just constantly reading all these Reddit posts about people struggling to get a job. And unless it's a transformation post where people are giving you actionable advice on how to more easily get one, trust me, reading stories that center around how much people are struggling will make your mindset worse. I know every time I would read one, I would feel a little bit better. But then it would make me think, if other people are struggling, then what I'm doing is okay. And actually, it's not my fault that I can't get a job, which can lead to dangerous levels of spiraling. Don't focus on high-end companies. And in the same vein of focusing too much on Reddit or the news, it can be really easy to look at these online forums and only focus on top tech companies. But to be honest, if you have no experience or you're not extremely good at these software interview questions, you're not going to be able to easily get a job at these companies. When I finished my first job search, I entered a company that had 3 total engineers and was paid far below the market value for software engineers at the time. And at the same time, I had to put in lots and lots of hours just to make sure I was learning and to maintain the job that I got. And for someone like me, with so few options in the workplace, this was all I could get. And if you're in a similar position as I was, you'll likely need to lower your standards as such. Talk to people that understand your problems. The reality is that the only people that can relate to the problems of not being able to find a software job are other software engineers. I know from experience because I had very few friends in software. And the friends I did have that weren't in software, they would read these articles about how easy it was to get a job, how much they would get paid, how nice those jobs are. And because of that, they wouldn't have any advice or opinions or really any thoughts when I came to them with my own struggles. And of course, that is completely understandable. Not everyone will understand the struggles that you're going through. And that is perfectly normal. You have to talk to people that understand what you're going through. And if you want a community where you can talk to others who are sharing their thoughts about struggling to get a job, you might want to check out my Discord community linked below, where I and other people discuss these topics. Thanks for watching.